Hiya, it's Becky here from Genie Frog Crochet, and today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Sunset Moonrise Cocoon cardigan that I've designed. So down in the description box I am going to have a link to the written pattern, and also I'll pop down there all the information that you need if you want to make in the same colorways as I have. So today you're going to need any DK weight yarn. I'm using Stylecraft Special DK, and again I'll put the colours down in the description box for you and the amounts. I've made my sunset one, so now I'm going to show you the Moonrise colours today. You will also need 2 size hooks, so a 5mm and a 5.5mm. A darning needle, pair of scissors, I think that's it. Oh, possibly a couple of stitch markers as well. Well, I got my stitch markers here. So let's make a start. So in both of my cardigans, my main colour is Emperor. So I use that for the top and the bottom, and also the joining and the border. So you're going to get your, let's pop everything out of my way here. So get your 5mm hook and your main colour. So for me it's Emperor. And we're going to pop a slip knot on your hook. Like so. And this is designed to be just one size's cardigan, sort of one size fits all, because it's very lovely and loose and baggy. It's very forgiving, but if you do want to adjust the size at all you really need to do is adjust your starting chain, which will be the width of your cardigan, just by a multiple of 3 if you want to make it any larger or any smaller. And then also with the length of the cardigan, you can just do more rows or less rows. It's entirely up to you. It's very versatile. So we are going to start by making a chain of, hold your breath, 168. It's worth it though, believe me. So to make a chain, you're gonna yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through your loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I am going to make another 160 of those off camera, you'll be pleased to know, and I will meet you back up when you've completed your chain. So chain 168. There we are, so I've chained 168. This is very satisfying little curled up snake. So what we're going to do is, starting in the second chain from the hook, so this one here, we're going to make single crochets all the way along. Now it's entirely up to you if you just want to make them into the chain as you normally would, but I like to single crochet into the back bump because it gives it a lovely edge. So let me just show you what I mean. So in this chain here, I'm going to make a single crochet, but I'm going to twist it over slightly and find that back bump. The first one is the trickiest one to get into. Oops. She says tricky, tricky. Oh, right, let's start again. Back bump, there we go. A single crochet into the back bump, And once you've done that first one, you'll see your chain sort of automatically twists for you to give you that back bump. So you're going to make a single crochet into every chain, but into the back bump. So let me just show you again a bit close up because it got a bit fiddly, didn't it? So there we finished chaining our 168, and then in your chain you're going to find that back bump, insert your hook in there, wiggle wiggle, you're going to pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's your single crochet into your next back bump, single crochet. So we're going to do that all the way along our chain, which will give us 167 single crochets when we get to the end. And as you see, your chain sort of automatically twists around a bit for you, so you can see that back bump. As I said, if you do want to just do it into the front loop of the chain, which is a bit easier, you can. Equally, you can do foundation single crochets if you want to do that. I like doing it this way, into the back bump, single crochet, and it gives you a lovely edge when you're done. So do that all the way along, and so will I, and I will see you in a sec. So I'm coming up to my last few single crochets. Don't forget to put one in that last back bump there. And that is round 1. So now what we're going to do for round 2, we're going to be making V stitches. So before we turn, we chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work over. Right, so we're going to skip 2 stitches, including this first one that your chain is coming out of. So 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to be making a V stitch. So to make a V stitch, you're going to make a double crochet, so yarn over, insert into your stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to chain 1 and then do another double crochet into that same stitch. So yarn over, insert into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your first V stitch, called a V stitch for obvious reasons. Where are we? Make a V stitch. So then we're going to skip 2 stitches and make a V stitch into the next, and we're going to do this all the way along. So double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet to make a V, then skip 2 into the next one, V stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2, V-stitch in the next, and we're going to do this all the way to the end. So skip 2 stitches, V-stitch, skip 2 stitches, V-stitch. Okay, so I will meet you back up when we get to the end. Make your V-stitches all the way along. Until you've got 2 stitches left. And then you're going to skip 1, and in that last stitch you're just going to put a double crochet into that one. Like that. So the chain 3 that we did at the beginning of the row, that counts as a double crochet. And then at the end of the row we've got a double crochet as well. So for row 3 we're going to chain 4 this time, which counts as a double crochet plus a chain 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn your work over. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a double crochet cluster into each of our V. So our chain 1 spaces in between our double crochets of our V. That's where we're going to be making our stitches. So we're going to make a double crochet cluster stitch. So to do that, you're going to start a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. But don't finish your double crochet because we're going to do that another 2 times. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and just pull through 2, and then we're going to do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on your hook. And that is a beautiful, one of my favorites, cluster stitch. And to the chain 1 space, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do another cluster into the next V stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, do it again, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then pull through all 4, and then chain 2. So that's what we're going to repeat all the way along. So we're going to make a cluster stitch in the V, and then chain 2, cluster in the V, and chain 2. So we're going to do that all the way along in every V stitch, and I'll meet you up at the end of the row. So I got 2 more V's to put my clusters into. And then when you've made your cluster in this last V, you're just going to chain 1 after the last V and then make a double crochet into the top of this chain 3. like so. So for row 4 we're going to chain 3, and this one's going to be another V-stitch row. So that's all this pattern is alternating V-stitch or V-row, cluster row, V-row, cluster row, V-row, cluster row. It's really simple, but I think it looks so pretty. So we chain 3 and turn, and now what we're going to do is we're going to make a V into the top of this cluster stitch. So those 2 loops at the top there, going to make a V stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then into the top of your next cluster the same. So really simple. Oh, I got a knot in my yarn there. What do you want? Snuck out, didn't he? Oh. So V stitches into the top of each cluster. And make sure that you're going, let me hold it up super close. Make sure you're going into the top of your cluster here. So into your stitch, you want to be going through these loops here to make your stitch. Make sure you don't make it into the chain space there, otherwise your pattern will be off kilter. So you want to go into this stitch here under your 2 loops on top of your cluster stitch. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way along. V in the top of every cluster, and I will meet you up at the end of row 4. So a V in the top, oops, splitty yarn, of every cluster. And then you want to place a double crochet into the 3rd chain. So don't forget we made a chain 4 here. So you're going to want to put your cluster into the 3rd, your double crochet into the 3rd chain. Like that. And then you're just going to repeat row 3. And then you're going to repeat this row again, then row 3. So you're just going to do row 3, row 4, row 3, row 4. So you've got your first row is your single crochets, row 2 where we set it up. So row 3 was your cluster row, row 4 V-stitch row. So 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. So for our cluster row we need to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to make clusters into all of your V's. Chain 2, chain 2. So that's what you're going to do all the way up. I'm going to carry on and I'm going to come back to show you how I change colour. It's up to you if you do want to do the cardigan all in one colour. We are going to be doing, where are we, 65 rows. So if you want to just carry on and do 65 rows all in one colour, that's entirely up to you. But I am going to be changing at row 11. So I will meet you back up. So where am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on row 5 now. So I will meet you back up at row 11 to show you how to change colour. Okie doke, see you then. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of my row 10. My last couple of V-stitches. V-stitch in the last cluster, and then a double crochet in the third chain of that chain 4. So now I'm going to fasten off my emperor colour. And for me, the next colour is going to be mushroom, which I love because it's it's one of those colours where it's not pinky, it's not purpley, it's not grey, it's kind of somewhere in the middle, which I love. Right, so I'm going to try and find the centre, yeah. See if we're lucky. Yay. There we go. So I'm going to join on a cluster row, and every colour block for my colourways is essentially, it's 9 rows, so you can alternate between starting on a V-stitch row and starting on a cluster row. So I'm just going to pop a slip knot on my hook, and I always use standard stitches to join, but it's up to you if you want to join with a slip stitch and chain. That's up to you, it's your choice. So I'm going to join in the top of this double crochet here. I'm going to join with a standing double crochet. I'm going to yarn over my hook, insert, pull through 2, and then pull through those 2. And because it's a cluster row, I'm then going to chain 1. So that essentially is, if you were just carrying on with the same colour, you'd have chained 4, which would have been your double crochet and your chain 1. And then I'm going to carry on then with the pattern, clusters in the V's, separated by chain 2. So I'm going to carry on with that for another 9 rows. So you do 9 rows with each colour. So the next time I'll be changing colour will be at row 20. And for this colourway, so let me just show you, let's move that out of the way a second. So we're using mushroom at the moment, and then after mushroom we swap to pale rose. After pale rose we go to magenta. After that we go to plum. After that we go to lobelia, and then we'll be back with the emperor then for the last 9 rows. So I will work that all off camera. So all you do for your next colour change, your last row with the mushroom is going to be a cluster row. So to change to your pale rose, you would again start with a standard double or a chain 3, it's up to you, and then make your V stitches into the top. I think actually what I'll do is I will work up this mushroom section, and I will join you back up again when I change to the pale rose. Okay, see you in a bit. Okie dokie, so I'm just getting to the end of row 19, which is my cluster row. And then I'll show you how to join your new colour when you're joining on a V row, just so that you've got both if you need to look back. My last cluster in there, chain 1, double crochet in the top of the chain 3. Okay, so let's fasten off this mushroom colour. And turn, and as I say, for this moon colourway, my next colour is going to be the pale rose. As I said, I will put all the colours down in the description so that you can, oh, quick tip actually, if you want to pull from the centre of your ball and you don't like getting this big sort of yarn bath that comes out, what I do is give the ball a quick sort of squish, and it doesn't always work, so I don't know if it's going to work this time. Make sure you're not getting the end that's from your outside, so I just tuck that in under the label for later. So give it a little squish and sort of judge which end is more accessible. So it's this end for me, and if you just feel around inside for the loose, hopefully what you've loosened by squishing. And there we go. So a little bit of a yarn bath, but it does loosen it up. Sometimes you're really lucky and you can put your fingers in and it comes out straight away. So let's find the end of this really quick. I probably should have done this off camera. We're living and learning. Okay, so this next row, row 20, is going to be a V-stitch row. So I'm going to pop a slip knot on my hook as we do with every row. And again, I'm going to start mine with a standing double crochet, so I'll show you that again. And I'm going to join in the top of this double crochet here. So you just wrap the yarn around your hook and insert it into the stitch. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and hold on to your little tail with your thumb and forefinger of your other hand. And there we go. And for our V-stitch row, we just have a double crochet and then we go straight into doing our V's into the top of the clusters. Like so. There we go, and you're going to be using the pale rose now until, where are we? Until row 29, you start with your next new colour. So essentially you do 9 rows of each colour now until you get to your last section with the Empire, and you're going to go up to row 64 with that, and then I will meet you back up when I've done all that as well, and we will I will show you how to finish off this main body, this lovely big rectangle we've got, and we'll work on folding it then and joining it into this lovely cocoon shape. So have fun, and I will see you soon. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of row 64, is a V-stitch row in my final colour, which is my main colour. So last V-stitch into the last cluster. Oh, I think I did 2 chains then, because I was there we go. And your last double crochet into chain. So that's row 64. So for row 65 we're just going to chain 1 and turn our work, which I know is a bit trickier now than it was when I did my last installment of this video, but we'll move it around as best we can. So for row 65 we chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to make a single crochet now in the top of this first stitch, yeah, and then we're going to make a single crochet into every double crochet and every chain 1 space from our V stitches in our last row. So 1 in each double crochet, 1 in the chain 1 space. Make sure you don't accidentally put one in between your V's, because your stitch count will be wrong. What I tend to do is, after I've done the 1 in the chain 1 space, I know then I do 2 in the top of stitches, and then another 1 in the chain 1 space. So single crochet into the top of every DC from your V's and into your chain 1 spaces all the way along to the end. So chain 1 space, top of a DC, top of a DC, chain 1. So there we are. We're going to do that all the way along, and I will meet you back up at the end of the row. I'm coming up to the end. One in the chain 1 space, 1 in the top of that last double crochet of the V, and then in your turning chain you're going to place 2 single crochets, just so that the stitch count matches at the top and the bottom of the main body of your cardigan. So you'll have 167 single crochets. So I'm just going to fasten off, and this last row, when you finish this last row, this facing you is going to be the right side of your cardigan. So I mean, if you like, you can always pop a stitch marker in just to remind you that this is your right side. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pause quickly, and I'm going to try and move my camera out a bit just to show you how we fold it. There we go. So I've moved it out a bit. I've got my right side facing me. So first of all, before we fold to make our sleeve holes, I'm going to spin my work around, and I'm going to make a row of single crochets along this edge, and I'm going to do that with my 5mm hook. And to do that, a slip knot on your hook as you would before. So we're going to place our first single crochet into the side, that makes sense, into the side of this last stitch from this row here. We're going to pop it in the side of that one there. So join with a standing, the camera's miles away now, standing single crochet, like so. And then all the way along, we're just going to place 2 single crochets sort of in each space of our double crochet bars. So I'll show you what I mean. So we'll pop 2 singles in the first space, and then you move down to what was your cluster row and you place 2 in that space, do your V-stitch row, 2 in the space or around then your last double crochet. So you're just going to go all the way up the edge, making 2 double crochets, 2 single crochets into each space. And what I like to do on this step, because we've got our right side facing us, as I get to my ends, I hold them along the back of my work on the same colour. So I'll get this emperor colour end and hold it along the back. So as I'm doing my single crochets into the spaces, I can crochet over that end. Oops. So it just secures them a bit before you are going to get to weaving them in. So that one now is trapped under some nice tight single crochets under there. And then as I go on to my mushroom coloured section, I'll then hold the end of that yarn down behind my work and crochet over it for a few stitches. Like so. So it's trapped underneath. Just kind of starts you off with your weaving in process. It's entirely up to you if you don't want to do that. If you've got your own way you like to weave in your ends, or if you've already done it, that's fine. But this is just how I like to do it. So all the way along the edge, 2 single crochets in each space, and do the same for the other edge, making sure you are keeping your right side facing you all the time. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you up when that's done. So when you get to the end of the row, as you did at the beginning, you're going to pop 2 into the space, and then you're going to do 1 into the side of this last stitch. It can be a bit tricky to get in there. Come along, do as you're told. There we go. And fasten off. I just wanted to show you that. So do the same for the other side, which I am now going to do. So I'll just make that quickly show you again. Sorry, I've done what I normally do and put my hook in my mouth. It's not the best thing when you're talking on camera, is it? Okie dokie. So I spun it round to the other side, making sure my right side is still facing me. And I'm going to do the same again, join into the side of this stitch and 2 singles then in each space. And I'll meet you up in a sec when I've done that. Okie dokie, so I'm just finishing my side row. So now we are going to make our sleeve hole. So I've still got my right side facing me. So I'm going to spin it around so that if you're doing the Moonrise colourway, your Lobelia stripe will be at the top. And if you're doing Sunset, it will be the lipstick, I believe. So you've got your right side facing you. So what you want to do is you want to get the top of your main body and fold it. You're basically going to fold your work in half. So you fold it down. Gosh. So that your right sides are now facing each other on the inside. And your work is folded completely in half. So if I slide it over, you'll be able to see. So this is the side of my work here. So your Lobelia will be laying on top of your mushroom. So our work will be in half. So what we're going to do is just spin it around so that you've still got your wrong sides facing. And now I know these are my wrong sides as well because my ends are poking out this side. And also you're going to have the wrong side of your single crochet row now facing you. So we're going to grab a stitch marker and I'm going to count. So counting from the bottom of your cardigan, we're going to count and place a marker in the 37th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and it should sit so that you've got, it should sit on your join of your 2 colours, unless you're doing it in a solid colour, obviously. So I've left that stitch marker open because I'm then going to count 37 on the other side, so which should sit here, and that's the top of my head. Hello. So where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and it does. So I'm going to join those 2 pieces together with that stitch marker. So this here now is your armhole. So if you did want to make your armhole any bigger, you could obviously just put your stitch marker to make your hole bigger. If you wanted to make it smaller, entirely up to you. So we're going to do that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to join, because this is the inside of our cardigan now, so we're going to join with a slip stitch seam on the inside. So to do that, I get my larger hook, so your 5.5mm hook, and some of my emperor yarn. Apologies if I do nod the top of my head. The camera's not normally this high above me, so I'm going to place a slip knot and then I'm going to do a slip stitch join. Actually, I'm going to move the camera back down again. There we go, so we're a bit closer again now. So I'm going to join into the back loop. We're going to do a slip stitch join in the back loop only. So into the back loop of this single crochet. I'm going to join my yarn with a slip stitch. Ooh. And then I'm going to slip stitch. No, what am I doing? Forget all that, ignore that. Oops. Right. Slip knot on your hook. Oh, come on. It's the summer holidays here and my brain is officially frazzled by the kids. But I wouldn't change it. Okay. So I'm going to put my hook into the back loop of this single crochet and into the back loop of the first single crochet on the other side, and I'm going to pull through and make a slip stitch, and then what I'm going to do is slip stitch each single crochet together, but only through the back loops. And try to do your slip stitches quite loose. This is why I go up a hook size as well, or half a hook size, just so that if it's too tight it will pucker up the sides of your cardigan. So you're going to go into your back loops, oops, of both sides and make a slip stitch. Like that. And we're going to go all the way up to our stitch marker doing this. So back loop, slip stitch, so carry on all the way up to your stitch mark. I'll meet you when we get a bit closer to it. Okay, so I'm coming up to my stitch marker. So I've got one left before. So I know now this is my last one, so I'm going to take my stitch marker out. And you did the same thing again then, put it in my mouth and try to talk with it. Gosh, not the brightest today. So back loop only, slip stitch, and then I'm going to fasten off. And you can see, because we've done our slip stitches in the back loop only, you'll have this nice seam now going up the edge of your cardigan. So we're just going to spin it around and do the exact same on the other side. Where are we? So your right sides should be facing each other. And we're going to count and put a stitch marker in the 37th, which should be around here somewhere. So 1, 2, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. I'm going to do the same on the other side and just do exactly the same as we did for the other side, and I will meet you at them. There we go. Just finished my join. Last one to do. And fasten off. There we go. And at this point you can weave in all of your ends if you like. I'm just going to leave mine until the end, because I'm crazy like that. Okay, so if you spin your cardigan round, right, okay, I'm going to need to zoom out again now, aren't I? Okay, so you've got your sleeve holes either side of you. So what you can do now is open your cardigan, your cocoon up, just kind of like a, it reminds me of a frog's mouth. I don't know why. Maybe it's the genie frog thing. And you can, what I like to do now is actually get my arms up in there and put my hands through the sleeves and just flip it around the right way. So your right side will be on the outside, and you should now be able to see how the shape works. So your sleeve hole is here and one on the other side, and this is the top part that goes around your neck, or the bottom part, it's up to you. I mean, the great thing about these cocoons is you can wear them upside down and nobody knows, it doesn't matter, because they're exactly the same. So what we are going to do now is, I'm just going to show you really quick how to do the border around the sleeve holes and around your edge. Don't forget to switch back to your smaller hook for this part. So turn our cardigan back, finding the hook. So I'm going to join with my emperor again, and I like to join in right in the sort of the armpit, but I mean, it doesn't really matter where you join, because you're just going to be making a stitch into each single crochet around. So I like to join in this, so you can see where we did our join. We've got our loops that we can see from where we did our back loop only. So I like to join into this stitch here, just to sort of tighten up those loose loops. So I've got a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to join with a standing half double crochet. Oh, and now I need to move my camera down. I really need to get a zoomy in, zoomy out thing, don't I? Zoom in. Right. So we're going to go do a standing half double crochet into this stitch here. So you want to yarn over your hook, insert it into your stitch under both loops of that single crochet, yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and pull through, all of the loops on your hook. I think for me the standing half double crochet is the hardest standing stitch to do, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. It's because it doesn't kind of look, until you slip stitch to it, when you get all the way around, doesn't look like a stitch really. So all we're going to do is a half double crochet into each single crochet around. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all three. And I'm simply just going to do one row of half double crochets all the way around. It's entirely up to you, it's your cardigan. If you decide you want to put more than one row, go for it. The police aren't going to knock on your door. No crochet police here. So I'm just going to do one row all the way around that sleeve. I'm going to carry on. I'll show you how to slip stitch to the top of the standing stitch when I get there, because it's a bit tricky. So half double crochets all the way around the circumference of your sleeve, and I'll meet you back up. I'm just going round to the other side of my sleeve hole. And so I'm going to do the same as what I did to join those two loops there from where I did my my join through the back loops. I'm going to go through both loops of that and make a half double crochet, and then join to the top of your standing half double crochet with a slip stitch. So you've really got to get into those first two loops under there and join with your slip stitch, and then you can fasten off and do the exact same for the other sleeve. And I will meet you back up after I've done that to show you just where we join to do the border all around the edge of your neckline. Okay, so for our final border part, it's exactly the same as the sleeves. It's just one row of half double crochets all the way around. I'm going to join in the stitch close to my join, just so that all of my ends are in the same place. But again, entirely up to you where you want to join, and make sure you're using the right size hook. Saying that because there's many times when I have not been. So slip knot on your hook, stand in half double crochet in, I'm going to do it in this stitch here next to my seam. Well, actually no, if I do it before the seam, then I can show you what to do when you come over the seam, just so that it doesn't squish in too much. So I'm going to do a standing half double in the stitch before my seam, like so, and then in your edge seam where you made your sleeve holes, I'm just going to pop a half double crochet in either side of that seam, on one side and on the other side, And I'm also going to crochet over my tail. And exactly the same as you did for your sleeves, just a half double crochet in every stitch around. And again, if you want to do more than one row, that's entirely up to you. And once you've done that and gotten around and join with a slip stitch to the top of your standing half double and weave in all your ends, and that is your cardigan finished. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this tutorial has been helpful. As I said, I will be putting a link to the written pattern in my Ravelry store in the description underneath. Please like and subscribe and comment and all that good stuff, pretty please. And also I've got a community Facebook group now, Crochet Love with Jeannie Frog. The link to that will be in the description as well, and also, you know, my Instagram and all the rest of it. Who can even remember them all? So many. So thank you so much, and I would love to see a picture of your cardigan. So come over and say hi. We're all a lovely little bunch at the moment, but it would be nice to see the community growing. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.